Okay, wow. This is a really interesting deep dive you sent over this time um, about the Fermi paradox.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the classic, where is everybody
Right.
question about alien life.
Yeah.
And you send over a paper that looks at like the likelihood of alien civilizations
Uh-huh.
and some articles debunking like UFO sightings and those Nazca mummies.
Right, right.
But the really weird thing is it's all by the same guy, this Dr. Hugh Mann.
Oh, okay.
And his work is kind of strange.
What's fascinating about this is that tension between Dr. Mann's skepticism about UFOs and alien mummies,
Right?
and then his reliance on an alien database to analyze the Fermi paradox.
Yeah.
So he's basically saying, trust me, aliens haven't visited Earth, but here's this data from an alien civilization to prove why they probably don't exist.
It makes you wonder, like, is he for real? And the paper is published in this journal with the weirdest name.
Yeah.
It's the Cranberry Lemon Journal of Astrological Big Data Ecology. I
What's
mean,
the...
come on. It makes you wonder about the credibility of the source, right?
Yeah.
But I guess let's just dive in and see what he's got to say.
Let's see what Dr. Mann has to say.
Okay, so the paper is called A Re-Examination of the Fermi Paradox.
Mm.
And it uses this complex model to figure out how likely it is that alien life
Uh-huh.
evolved and got to the point where they could, like, contact us.
Okay.
And it's not just the Drake equation. He uses this thing called a Markov process,
Right.
which I guess is way more sophisticated.
Yeah, so the Drake equation, you can kind of think of it like a simple formula with a bunch of variables,
Yeah.
number of stars and planets and the likelihood of life and all that.
Okay.
The Markov process is more like a dynamic map of possibilities, like it shows all the different routes that a civilization might take, with each step influencing the next step.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, here's the chance of a planet having life.
Right.
It's more about, like, all the things that can happen to a civilization as they,
Right.
advance, like how they might collapse, all the potential doom scenarios.
Yeah, and that's where this whole concept of P-doom comes in. The probability of a civilization being wiped out before it reaches the point that it can contact other civilizations.
And he's got some pretty wild doom scenarios.
Yeah.
We're talking asteroids, supernovas, ecological collapse,
Yeah?
even civilizations destroying themselves with things like using artificial black holes
Really?
for garbage disposal.
Wow.
I know, it's out there.
It's out there, but
But kind of makes you think, right?
yeah, that even advanced civilizations are really fragile.
Right.
There's so many things that can go wrong. It
Yeah.
makes you wonder, are we on a path to our own doom here on Earth?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, are we headed toward our own P-doom?
Right.
But wait, there's more.
What?
He doesn't just focus on, like, human-like aliens.
Okay.
He's got 4 potential paths to intelligent spacefaring life, and some of them are just nuts.
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting. So he's got your classic humanoids,
Like us.
similar to us. Then there are fungus-based creatures, some of which can like spread from planet to planet, absorbing other life forms into their network.
Like giant mushrooms taking over the galaxy.
Exactly.
It's kind of scary.
Then you've got silicon-based rock people. He suggests some of them are like tens of thousands of years old,
Wow.
but they're really slow to develop technology. Some of them just stay in one place for thousands of years, barely moving.
Okay, this is getting very Guardians of the Galaxy now.
Haha, yeah.
I love it.
And then last but not least, we have the jellyfish that pilot mech suits.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they spend almost their entire lives inside these suits, which raises questions about their biology, how they even built these things.
Right, right.
He suggests that they do eventually make it into space,
Wow.
but they often die out because of, like, their suits malfunctioning.
Really?
Yeah,
So they're too reliant on technology.
they are, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, that's officially the most outlandish alien concept I've ever heard.
It's pretty out there.
Okay, but this brings us back to this whole alien database thing.
Right.
Like, he's basing all of this on data from this mysterious database.
Exactly.
He says it's curated by this Zethron race,
Uh-huh.
but he's really vague about who they are, where they come from, why they even made the database.
Right.
And he says to access it, you need this special router and a password.
What?
Otherwise, you might end up in an intergalactic zoo.
Oh, no.
I know. It's like, is he serious? He debunks UFOs and alien mummies,
Uh-huh.
but then he says he's got this super secret alien database.
Right. It's like
That's so weird.
it's like he's trying to throw us off the scent.
Yeah, what if he's an alien himself?
What?
Using this research thing as like a cover.
You think so?
Maybe he's trying to like mislead us about alien life by making it sound super outlandish.
Hmm, that's a theory.
Okay, so we've got this very normal human obsessed with debunking aliens,
Right.
but he uses an alien database for his research, and he talks about these crazy alien civilizations like there's from science fiction.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it, do you?
Well, I think maybe we should look closer at his debunking arguments.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe there are clues in there about what he's really up to.
let's put on our detective hats and figure this out.
All right. So we're back.
Yeah, this is getting weirder and weirder.
I know. Are we dealing with a brilliant scientist, a total hoaxer, or...
Maybe, like
Yeah.
an alien in disguise?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, it's possible.
Okay, let's look at his debunking papers.
Okay.
He's got one called 8 Scientific Arguments Debunking the Declassified UFO Videos,
Huh?
and then 9 Undebatable Scientific Reasons the Nazca Mummies aren't aliens.
Okay.
Where do we even start with this?
Well, in the UFO paper, he claims that, like, real alien spacecraft wouldn't have blurry edges in photos and videos.
Right.
They'd be crisp and clear.
Oh, come on, really?
Yeah. And he says they would have, like, an easy-to-recognize paint job.
Like, every alien visiting Earth is going to fly right in front of someone with a good camera.
Right.
What about cloaking technology?
That's actually one of his points.
Oh, really?
He says any self-respecting alien pilot would always use a cloaking device because it's, like, required by galactic code 9A1.73.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous.
Where does he even come up with this stuff?
I think he's trying to make everyone who believes in UFOs sound crazy.
Maybe.
Like, oh, look at these silly UFO people with their blurry photos.
Yeah, but then he uses this alien database that's even more unbelievable.
Exactly. It's like misdirection.
It is.
Look at this shiny thing over here while I distract you with this other thing over here.
Yeah, it's like a magic trick.
Total magic trick.
Okay, so what about the Nazca mummies?
Yeah, let's talk about those.
So he claims that the elongated skulls are just, like, bone deformities.
Yeah.
And not evidence of aliens.
Of course.
And he even, like, calls out Jaime Maussan, who's been studying them for years.
Right, and he says that the DNA is too degraded to be reliable. But then he claims that real aliens wouldn't use osmium for psychic implants.
Really?
Yeah, they would use titanium and element 104 because it best tunes telepathic brainwaves to communal networks.
Oh, wow. How would he know that?
Unless he's an alien himself. I
Okay.
mean, come on.
It's pretty suspicious.
Super suspicious.
It's like he's got all this insider knowledge.
Okay, let's just put the debunking aside for a minute.
All right.
Talk about his Fermi paradox analysis.
Okay, yeah. Because under all this weirdness, there's actually some interesting stuff about how civilizations, like, rise and fall. Like,
Yeah.
he's got all these different things that could contribute to doom.
Right.
And not just, like, the obvious stuff like asteroids or supernovas.
Probably.
He talks about resource depletion, ecological collapse,
Mhm.
societal unrest, even things like runaway AI
Oh, wow.
could lead to a civilization's downfall.
That's pretty scary, actually.
Okay. It is, yeah.
And he breaks it down by, like, the different types of aliens, which is cool.
Yeah, so for the humanoids, he says that they're really good at adapting and advancing technologically, but that often leads to overexploitation of resources
Right.
and environmental damage.
So basically, they destroy their own planets.
Yeah, he gives this example of a civilization on a planet he calls Kepler 186 that completely used up all of their planet's resources.
Wow.
And then, of course, collapsed.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, a little too close to home, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Then there are the fungus creatures.
Oh, yeah, the mushrooms.
He says because they're all interconnected,
Right.
they can survive things like natural disasters and asteroid impacts.
Wow.
But they're vulnerable to what he calls cognitive plagues.
Like what?
Basically, ideas or beliefs that spread through their network and cause chaos.
So like a virus of the mind?
Yeah, exactly.
That's trippy.
Makes you think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about the rock people?
Yeah, what about those guys? What's their doom risk?
He suggests that they're pretty much immune to things like disease and climate change.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but because they're so slow to develop, they're vulnerable to what he calls cosmic boredom.
Like they get bored and just give up?
Pretty much, yeah. He gives an example of a silicon-based species on a planet called Cygnus Thyssen that literally just stopped existing.
What, really?
They lost all interest in everything, exploration, innovation.
They just stopped caring.
They did, yeah.
Wow, that's sad.
It's a little bleak.
Yeah, but it makes you wonder, what keeps us going?
I know.
What makes us want to keep exploring and discovering new things?
Right, even when things are tough.
Exactly.
Okay, and then there are the jellyfish.
Yeah, the ones in the mech suits.
He argues that they're super reliant on technology, which is both good and bad.
Makes sense.
He says they're really good at solving problems with technology, but if something goes wrong with their tech, they're in big trouble.
Yeah, like their suits malfunctioning or something.
Exactly. He describes this species called the Aquarians, whose whole civilization collapsed when a solar flare knocked out their power grid.
Wow, their suits just stopped working.
They did? Yeah.
And that was it for them.
That was it.
Wow. Kind of makes you think about our reliance on technology.
It does.
Like, what if all our computers and phones just stopped working?
Right. What would we do?
We'd be in big trouble.
We would, yeah.
But let's remember, all of this analysis, everything we've been talking about, it's based on data from that weird alien database.
That's true. Can we really trust Dr. Mann?
Yeah. Is he telling the truth or is he, like, tricking us?
It's like we're in this hall of mirrors. We see all these reflections,
Right.
but we can't be sure which ones are real.
So what do we do?
Yeah, do we believe everything Dr. Mann says?
Or do we just, like, ignore it all?
It's a tough question.
It is, and I think we need to really grapple with that
Yeah.
as we move into the last part of this deep dive.
Okay.
All right, so we're back, and I'm still kind of reeling from all this Fermi paradox stuff.
It's a lot to process, right?
Yeah, it's like we've got this Dr. Hugh Mann who says he's just a regular guy,
Right.
but he's obsessed with debunking aliens. But then he uses this top secret alien database for his research.
It's like he wants us to believe in aliens, but
Wow.
not the ones that might have visited Earth.
Exactly.
It's like he's saying, hey, aliens exist, but they're not here, and here's this secret database to prove it.
I know, it's so confusing.
It's really clever, though.
Yeah, it is. It's like by making all these crazy aliens and doom scenarios, he makes the whole idea of alien life sound like, I don't know, fake.
Like a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, but then he throws in this database thing,
Right.
which would be like the biggest discovery ever.
If it's real, of course.
Right, if it's real. So, okay, let's talk about this database.
Okay.
What do we even know about it?
Well, he gives us little bits of information.
Like what?
Like, it's curated by this Zethron race.
Right, and you need a special router and password to get in.
Yeah, but he's not very specific about anything.
No, not at all. He's very vague.
He does describe them as, like, this intergalactic civilization that sends out probes to collect data on planets and civilizations.
Okay, so they're like space explorers.
Yeah, and he mentions that their probes are calibrated to detect, like, specific technological and biological advancements.
Like what?
Like, if a civilization develops nuclear weapons, the probes will pick that up.
Oh, wow, so they're watching us.
It seems like it.
But why? I mean, are they going to do something?
He doesn't say.
It's kind of creepy.
It is a little bit like we're being monitored.
Yeah, and he even warns about trying to access the database without permission.
Right, he says you could end up in an intergalactic zoo.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but it doesn't sound good.
Definitely not. It's all very mysterious.
Very cloak and dagger.
Okay, so back to our big question. Can we trust this guy?
Is he the real deal, or is he just messing with us?
I mean, we've already talked about how he's obsessed with debunking UFOs and alien mummies.
Right, but then he says he's got this alien database.
It just doesn't add up.
It really doesn't.
And the more we think about his alien descriptions,
Yeah.
the more questions we have.
Like, how does he know so much about these aliens?
Exactly. He goes into all this detail about their bodies, their culture. It's like he's met them.
Right, like in his Nazca Mummy's paper, he says they can't be aliens because they have the wrong number of fingers.
I remember that.
But then he explains how silicon-based rock people talk to each other with crystal telepathy.
Where's he getting all this information?
It's like he's trying to control what we think about aliens.
Yeah, to make us believe certain things.
Maybe steer us away from the truth.
Okay, so if he is an alien, what's he doing?
I don't know. Is he trying to warn us about something?
Or is this all part of some bigger plan?
Maybe he's setting us up for an invasion?
I mean, it's possible.
Or maybe, just maybe, he really is just a normal guy who found something amazing.
And he's trying to share with us.
It's possible, but that database thing just throws everything off.
It really does. It makes everything he says seem suspicious.
It's like we're stuck in this puzzle.
We have all these pieces, but we can't figure out how they fit together.
It's the Fermi paradox all over again.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, are we alone in the universe?
And if we're not, will we ever know the truth?
It's a big mystery.
It is.
And I don't know if we'll ever have the answers.
Maybe not, but it's definitely something to think about.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this deep dive into the Fermi paradox.
Yeah,
It's been a wild ride.
it has.
We've got Dr. Hugh Mann, this mysterious alien database, all
Right.
these crazy alien civilizations.
And a lot of unanswered questions.
Definitely. So, what do you think, listeners? Is Dr. Mann a genius or a fraud?
A friend or foe?
Or is he something else entirely?
Hmm.
Something we can't even comprehend.
It's a mystery.
It is, and maybe it's a mystery that's better left unsolved.
Maybe so.
But hey, that's the beauty of the universe, right?
There's always something more to discover.
Always something new to learn.
Exactly.
So keep looking up, keep asking questions, and never stop exploring the unknown.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It will see you next time.